Hey everyone, this is Rise, and welcome to Let's Play My Volume Died Again, aka Ryzen needs a new headset. Whatever, I can play without any sound. But today we're going to go back to Basker. Oh, you can also hit the L2 button to change characters. And if you're holding R2 and hit L2, you can change tools with the on-screen character. Of course. Yeah, that's exactly what she's planning, Gallows. That would be pretty funny, though. That's something you would do. Way to overreact. There we go. I'll get a new headset in a few weeks, whatever. I know which one I'm gonna get, but I gotta get... Well, I'm hopeful that I'll either have that job or be getting that job soon. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Let's go with, now, Terra Roar. Terra Roar is a great medium. I almost said Persona, but I've been playing a lot of Persona 3 lately. Not nearly as hard as I thought it would be to get ready, but anyway. Terra Roar is a really good medium because it raises your defense, your HP, and it has some good spells on it. Starting personal skills, Earth Ward protects you against Earth Elemental attacks. Defender, which is really nice. It basically auto guards at times. Actually, it does more than that. It makes you almost immune to physical attacks when it activates. More points. If you put both points into it, then you got a higher chance of activating it than if you only had 1 point into it. And Disease Ward makes you protects you against disease. I think the way it works for elements is like one is you take 25% less damage per one. So yeah, like you take 75% damage, 50% damage, 25% damage, and then 0% damage from Earth. And this is the likelihood of the status ailment hitting you. You're completely immune if you have all four in. It's not like Wild Arms 2. The personal skill system is much better than Wild Arms 2, but it's also much more broken at times. But at least there's some skills that are useful without being broken. But let's see here. The spells, Petrify, Earth Elemental spell, that's useful. Shield, halves physical attacks, very useful. Pretty good buff. Protect is the same, but for magic, so halves magic attacks, which is useful. And Decelerate debuffs the enemy's reflex, which can be useful at times, but I hardly ever use that. And then for Jet, we want to give him Gale Claw. Not because Gale Claw is any good, but Jet basically gets whatever's left over. Reflex boost really doesn't help anybody. But he does have access to both Wind Ward and Thunder Ward, which, you know, one protects you against wind, protects you against thunder, and Counterattack, which has your chance of counterattacking, which is useful, so I'll put points into that. Also put points into Defender right now. And spells on that include Vortex, Wind Elemental spell, pretty good. Inspire, Thunder Element spell, also useful. Turbulence, greatly increases your evasion to the point where it's almost overpowered. Virginia is basically guaranteed to dodge an attack if Turbulence is on her, and so is Jet. Even Clive is pretty much almost guaranteed. Well, maybe not guaranteed, but I mean, Clive's got like a 50-50 shot at dodging with the Turbulence on him, and even Gallows does, so. But I mean, if you put that on Virginia and Jet, they basically can't be hit with physical attacks. It's ridiculous. Quicken is a buff that buffs up your reflex. I don't really use that. It hardly ever affects the turn order. I mean, casting it on Clive is useless because it pretty much never changes anything. Gallows, it will sometimes make him go before the enemies, but for the most part, I would just ignore that. For Gallows, you want to give him Aqua Wisp because it buffs up his magic. I don't really care about the HP growth, the HP gain there, but the magic gain is nice. Water Ward obviously protects you against water. Ice Ward protects you against ice. And Attack Blocker is basically Defender, but instead of just reducing damage to a very small amount, it outright deflects the attack. It doesn't deal any damage back, but basically you take no damage, and it's got a pretty cool animation, so that's useful to put points into. As for spells, well, we've been using them. Pressure is the water elemental spell. Refrigerate is the ice elemental spell. Both are very useful. Heals HP to the target. Useful, but becomes outclassed to items later on. Analyze is basically the game's scan spell. I probably won't use it much because I have a bestiary, but it is pretty useful. It also lets you see if the enemy has any buffs or debuffs on them, which can be useful. And after you've scanned an enemy, you can just select, when you're selecting the enemy, you can just hold triangle over them like you would your own character, and you can see their scan status at any time, even if it's not the same battle in which you scan said enemy. So, like you scan a gob, from that point on, every single gob in future battles will already have that information readily available to you. You just select the gob, hold triangle, and you can see its stats and whatever it's got on it. And Fiery Rage is a attack boosting medium, so that goes on to Clive. Critical hit. Ups the chance of getting a critical hit. That is obviously quite good. Critical hits are really, really strong in this game. Fire Ward protects you against fire. Poison Ward protects you against poison. Both of them are pretty useful. Oh, the points are equivalent to your level, and each thing takes a different number of points per level. That's 1 point per level, 2 points per level, and so on. So like Gallows, Jet, and Virginia are level 6, so they have 6 points. Clive is level 8, he has 8 points. And lastly, the spells on that medium. Cremate is a fire elemental spell, obviously useful. Devastate is a non-elemental spell, however, it is more powerful than any of the elemental spells, but at the same time, and it's a lot more powerful actually, but you need to have twice as much FP available, and there was something else I was gonna say. You can't get the weakness bonus, yeah. So, like, an enemy weak to fire will take more damage to Cremate than Devastate, but an enemy not weak to fire will take more damage from Devastate than Cremate. So, Devastate has its uses. I used to love the spell, but then I realized the medium should go on Clive anyway, so the spell's kind of pointless there. But it's not pointless. It does have some uses, but we'll get into that later. Fragile is a very good buff, or debuff. It halves the target's physical defense, which is really good. And debuffs almost always have a 50% chance of hitting, and sometimes they have 75% or higher of hitting. It depends on the target, but debuffs are quite good in this game. And the Revive spell, which sucks. I'm not kidding. It works like a Phoenix Down would in Final Fantasy IX. It gives you like 1 HP back. It's really dumb. I'd never use it. I would just use a Revive Fruit. Okay, so let's go rest up now. You can rest for free in Basker Colony, so you want to keep that in mind for later. That will be useful later on. Typically, any of the main characters' hometowns let you sleep for free. Right. Oops. You can buy the world screen if you have enough money, but I don't. It would be a good idea to pick up some antidotes, but I'm going to wait right now. But yeah, you want to chat with this guy. That's the only way you can actually continue with the plot. Jolly Roger. That's where we're going next. How can there be a port town if there's no ocean? Huh. Well, they'll explain that later, too. Okay. Oh, interesting thing about this game? They say different things to Gallows. So yeah, it's kind of useful. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, you can rename your spells if you care. I don't. Someone else can change your name too, but I forget who it is. I think it's Hal, maybe. There's also an item that lets you rename NPCs, which is amusing, to say the least. If you tried to leave before talking to Roykman, the game would say, we need to figure out what we're going to do or something. What? You can't split the party up. No, I don't want it to be like Final Fantasy 13. No! Actually, that was the least of that game's problems. I don't mind split party scenarios. But, yeah, we're gonna have a goodbye party. What better time than now to do some more grinding? I know what you're thinking. Ryzen, why are you gonna do level grinding? I'm not. I'm doing elemental gem grinding. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is that? Well, I'll show you. Essentially, we want to get 5 of each gem. You can go ahead and get 10 if you like, but I think 5 is plenty. But basically that includes, well, we already have the ice gems, so we're going to get 4 more water gems, 4 more earth gems, 4 more thunder gems. No, this battle's pointless to do it in, but I want to get 5 wind gems, and 5 water gems, or 4 more water gems, I think. And then 5 fire gems. We can hit 6 of the 8 elements right now, if you're wondering. There are light and dark elements, but we can't hit those yet. If only there were an item that gave us access to the dark element. Oh well. So yeah, like, well, what you want to do is you want to guard until you get 10 FP. And get 5 to 10 gems of each. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, Devastate does not give gems, so yeah. There's no there are no non-elemental gems, so don't worry about that. Remember, you have to kill an enemy with a elemental spell to get it. Why didn't I cast Petrify? The world may never know. There's a fire gem. And an earth gem. Now if a chest does appear, Open it with whoever has the best luck at the time. Whoever has either best luck, good luck, normal luck, or failing that, whoever has the highest luck. If somebody has bad luck, and that's your highest, well, you're gonna have to do that. If the chest explodes, you lose all the gems you would have gotten, which is really annoying. Don't cross the land bridge. What the hell? You're still alive? Petrify, they're not immune to that, I don't think. They might have it, but... No, they don't have it. That was weird. You'll also probably gain a couple levels in the process, but who cares? So yeah, I'm going to take the time to get 5 to 10 of each gem, and I'll be right back. Minus light and dark gems, because we don't have access to those elements yet, so I'll take care of that, and I'll be right back. As you can see, I have 5 gems of each, at least. I usually recommend around 10, but I don't feel like spending that much time. It only takes about 45 minutes, but still. Five should be enough. Thunder gems and ice gems are probably the most important. Just because there's no summon for them, so... summons and summon elements, killing a bunch of enemies with summons also counts as giving you gems, so... But since you can't summon a lightning summon or a ice elemental summon, you can't get those gems in mass, which is annoying. Alright, let's go ahead and, oh, right. Oh, I had to take off Jet's counterattack because he was starting to kill the enemies there with counterattack, so that was no good. That wasn't getting me gems. Let's see, these guys we want to cast, well, we can't, but if I had the levels, I'd cast Vortex on Beast Slug because I think they're weak to that. Jet and Clive attack, and Gallows cast Devastate or Cremate on the Spartoi. But there's no reason for me to move Clive's medium off of him because, well, now there is. Another interesting thing you can do, you can manually order the turn order, so that can be useful at times. But the thing is, like, if I have Clive go first, basically the game only goes by Clive's reflex. So since Clive is super slow, all the enemies would go before us. But it still has its uses. There are times where I want to do that. Shoot, and cremate. Spartois are actually weak to light, but I don't have light. I don't know why they made these guys weak to light, but they did. If I had enough FP for Devastate, I'd use that, but I don't. Cremate's like the only element they're not resistant to. Apart from light, but light they're immune to. I mean, light they're weak to. There we go. Search right here. And there's Jolly Roger, which we will explore next time on Let's Play Wild Arms 3. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.